Hello, and welcome to my TED Talk. My name is Tracy Mealy, and today I will be describing for you token economies. I'm going to use a real life example um, to help really paint a picture for you for how this can work. A few years ago, more years than I would like to admit, I was the director for a summer camp, a day camp with 500 children. At the end of the day, I would walk around the campus just to make sure nothing was damaged, nothing needed to be fixed, and I would pick up the items that were left behind for that day. I started to notice a growing problem. I was picking up a lot of things that the children had left behind. Swimsuits, extra clothes, goggles, ice packs, lunch boxes. All of these things were left around the campus, and I would pick them up and bring them to our ever-growing lost and found. We started to call it an item graveyard because there were so many things and nobody ever seemed to come back to look through them. And I also started receiving angry emails from parents demanding that their child come home with the items that they went to camp with. One mother had stated that she had bought 3 bathing suits so far that summer, and we were only in week 2 of 9. Another parent was asking to be reimbursed for the money that she was spending on clothes and lunch boxes for her son. So it was definitely a problem that I knew that we needed to address. So the leadership team and myself got together and we decided that we were going to implement a home camp token economy. Now, token economies have been around for centuries. They can date back to the teaching of the Torah, where children were given cherries and nuts as a result of learning different sections of the Torah correctly. More recently, though, in the 1960s, token economies have been used in classroom settings. Their popularity grew rapidly. They've been known to increase appropriate behaviors. They've been known to increase study behaviors and academic achievement. They've been known to decrease disruptive behaviors. So any number of behaviors that you would like to see changed can be used in a token economy. They are appropriate for pretty much everyone. Anyone who can understand how the token economy works can use and can benefit from it. So I've seen it used on a teenager for study behavior. I've seen it used on an adult for progress or productivity at work. I've seen it even used on a 2-year-old who was having trouble getting ready in the morning. So he had a sticker chart. I'm going to describe for you step by step how to implement a token economy. And I'm going to touch back to my original example to make sure that I put it into context for you. So step 1 would be to choose the behavior that you want to change and to make a rule for it. So in our case, we wanted to change the behavior of bringing home all items that they came to camp with. The rule was that they needed to bring all items that they went home, that they brought to bring them home with them. So once you have your rules set up and your behavior that you want to change, and it can be multiple behaviors, doesn't have to just be that one. You want to choose what item will serve as a token. So here's how ours worked. We sent a letter and a token chart home to the parents. The letter described what we were doing, why we were doing it, and some contact information if they had any questions. What the parents agreed to do at home was that when their child brought home all the items that they came to camp with, they would receive a stamp or a sticker on their token chart. In order to make sure that this was accomplished, a checklist was put into place. The parents would, in the morning, go over all the items with the child that they were bringing to camp, and they would check off on the checklist what those items were. When the children got to camp, they would give their checklist to their counselor, and their counselor would make sure they still had all those items, didn't lose them on the bus or in the car. Throughout the day, when they were moving from area to area, the children would make sure that they had all their items. Their counselor would help them go through their backpacks or any kind of bag that they had to ensure that they had all of their items. The older children were able to self-monitor themselves, which is really important because it can relieve some of the burden of the person implementing the token economy if the child is able to self-monitor themselves. So keep that in mind too with older kids. The third step, yes, is to select the rewards. So in this case, we had fun Fridays at our camp where we tried to do something different for the children every week. Sometimes it was a dunk tank with the counselors. Other times it was a pie eating contest or even a pie throwing contest. So in addition to having fun Fridays, all the children who had brought home all their items every day that week would receive a treat package with some edible items, maybe an eraser or a pencil, something fun. And we would distribute them in front of the entire camp to the children who completed the task. It was something that was really fun for the camp and that the children really enjoyed. So that's a tip too as well, that to have fun with it, be creative. If you're excited about it, the children will be excited about it, and the success is likely to be high. Number 4 is the ratio of exchange. As I said before, the ratio of exchange for us was that every child had to bring home every item. So for 5 days, if they did it for 5 days, they would receive um, the the reward at the end of the week. Um, Keep in mind that your rate of exchange should be appropriate for the age group. The children should be able to accomplish what you're setting forth for them. Another tip is that there may be some children who need some extra help with the token economy. With 500 children that we had, there were certain children that we needed to monitor a little bit more, maybe manipulate the ratio of exchange or the demand that was placed on them for the task. We worked closely with the parents to determine if it was successful and if we needed to make modifications. So that's something really important too, is to keep the lines of communication open when you're doing a homeschool, or in this case, a home camp token economy. Number 5 is establish a system for distributing the tokens. So in classrooms, it's really important to make sure that you're not taking too much time to distribute the tokens and taking away from teaching time, because that would negate the purpose of the token economy in the first place. In this case, the distribution of the tokens was immediately when they got home from camp. Their parents would go through their bag and make sure they had all the items. If they had all the items, they got the sticker or the token. So the token was given out immediately after the task was completed, which is also very important to consider. We don't want the children waiting too long because they might get doubtful about whether or not they're actually going to receive their token. So it needs to be immediate. The final step is to have fun and to be creative, keeping in mind the cost of how it's going to be. I know that there are certain restrictions in educational settings, and we don't want teachers going out and spending hundreds of dollars to make sure that their children are acting appropriately in their classroom. I know also in this case we had a reward for the counselors when the children in their group, if all the children in their group brought home all their items every week, they received a $5 gift card. So we had the funds to do that. It wasn't a problem, but other token economies and other situations may need to address those issues. I will note as a final point is our camp in week 9 of the summer. 445 children, or 89% of the children in the camp, brought home all of their items that they came to camp with. So I didn't take any data in the beginning, but started to take data as I started to see success, and that's something that you would probably really want to do, especially in educational setting, to determine if it is successful, is to take some data and see, are the children earning rewards? Is this worth it? Do I need to change certain things so that it's more successful? So if the children are earning the rewards and they are the behavior that you wanted to increase or decrease is actually doing that, then you know that it's successful. So that's a summation of token economies, and I hope you enjoyed the talk and that you learned a little bit more about them. Thank you very much.